students, when we talk about organizing, we are essentially implying it to a process that helps in setting the human resource with that of the physical resources. It is the function that basically aims at integrating the human resource with the physical resource, because we know that ultimately both are equally important for the organization. An organization cannot work just on the basis of availability of physical resources, neither it can work just with the availability of human resource. So there has to be a united combination, or we can say a good compatibility between the two kinds of resources, and this is what this process of organizing aims at. So it is initiated by implementation of plans, by first of all clarifying the jobs and working relationships, and then ultimately deploying the necessary resources to get the desired goals achieved for the organization. So in the beginning, we'll start with the steps in the process of organizing, and dear students, another acronym with a very sweet word, you can remember it as IDDDR. There are 4 steps in the process of organizing. One is ID, identification and division of work. The next process in line is another D, representing departmentalization. Then the third D also represents the assignment of duties to different individuals in the organization. So again a letter D is taken to represent this process, and ultimately it leads to establishment of reporting relationships between the workers, the subordinates and their superiors, and setting up the entire hierarchical chain for the organization. So let us see the very first step as identification and division of work, that what all you are supposed to write in this. It says that organizing process divides the entire work in parts, and it divides the managerial activities into different segments in the form of departments in an organization, so that the duplication of work and any kind of confusion can be avoided, and people can work according to the departments allotted to them. The second in the line is regarding departmentalization, which says to divide the smaller and manageable activities of similar nature. This is a key word here, students. Similar in nature are grouped together in the form of departments, and then their work is done through specialization in that particular department. So this process is also called departmentalization, and there can be several bases for creation of departments. Usually we chose the basis of similar nature of work to divide the segments. Next in line is assignment of duties, where the job positions are assigned to the different employees working in the organization, and they are given an in-chargeship of a particular department or a particular segment. It is mainly on the basis of their competencies and skills, and this results in effective performance by the organization. Therefore, this process is equally important to get the work done in a very efficient and effective manner. Next in line is establishment of authority responsibility relationship. It is very, very important, because ultimately this process decides that who is accountable to whom, which is very important in order to get the task done from others, and thereby this process helps in creation of clear-cut relationships and setting up the hierarchical chain that helps in coordination amongst the various departments of the organization. Apart from this topic of process of organizing, I would suggest you to go through this as well, importance of organizing. Though this topic has not come frequently in the exams, in the previous 5 years we cannot see any question related to this, but still students, you must remember it with a short word. Again an acronym just to make you remind this specialization, AAR CDS. That what all organizing has as its positive methods. So there are 6 points here. AAR CDS, which you can remember as A standing for adaptation feature, another A standing for good administration, effective administration, then C, D and S, it's not combined defense services students, but it is clarity in the working relationships standing with letter C, D standing for development of the personals, and S leading to specialization in the entire organization. So these are the words C, D, S as we saw, and AAR is nothing but the effective administration due to presence of organizing, adaptation to the changes, quick adaptation to the necessary changes, and ultimately optimum utilization of resources with the letter R. So it's well said students that a minute spent in organizing leads to conservation of an hour. So that is how the importance of organizing in your life as well as in the management areas of the business. So now let us see students that what kind of a question has been asked from this particular topic of process of organizing. So this is a case based question taken from this year's sample paper itself. It is question number 2 of the sample question paper 24-25, and it's a 1 marker asking you to depict the step of the process being used here. So there are 4 options given. As you can see students, these are nothing but the ones that we revised a few minutes earlier, that the process of organizing can be classified as ID, DDR, the 4 steps, and these are the only 4 options that have been provided here. This is ID with identification and division of work. Again, this is R, reporting relationships. Then this is another D for departmentalization, and yet another D as duties, assignment of duties. So we have to choose amongst these 4 steps that which has been talked about here. Let us read the case from beginning. Jasmine Aluwalia is the manager of an artifacts museum marketing team responsible for promotion of exhibitions and events. In the previous season, she defined the total work of managing the events into graphic designing, the registration, bill payments, etc. to facilitate specialization. So students, here it's a question where Ms. Jasmine is leading the team of marketing, and her work is to promote the exhibitions and artifacts, and she has been successful in dividing the total task into various smaller segments of activities. However, instead of allocating work, she had assigned each team member the full responsibility of managing the promotion of an entire event. In spite of holding regular meetings to take feedback, Jasmine found problems throughout the event season in the quality of graphic design, the registration inquiry, bill payments, etc. So as you see students, although she divided the work into smaller segments, but she was unsuccessful in assigning the duties properly, and rather she has given the entire charge of the entire event as a full responsibility to the team members. So ultimately that has led to many problems in the efficiency and effectiveness of particular departments. So for the upcoming event season, Jasmine has decided to divide the responsibilities on the basis of her observations in which the individual team members have excelled in the previous season, and allocate the roles based on their skills and competencies. So for the upcoming event session, the next session, she has finally decided to change the strategies and overcome her problems that prevailed last time, and now this time she has been allocating the responsibilities and roles as per the competencies and skills of the workers in which they have excelled in the previous session. So now let us see, we need to identify the step that has been taken from the process, the function of organizing, and clearly it is not talking about division of work because that was already done by her earlier. Neither it talks about superior subordinate relationships or accounting relationships. If we say about departmentalization, this work is also well completed by Ms. Aluwalia by dividing the tasks into segments like graphic designing, registration and bill payments. So ultimately the step that has been taken now by her is dividing the roles as per competencies and skills of the employees, and therefore the correct option would be assignment of duties, in which it is told that the duties must be assigned seeing the capabilities of the individual workers. So I hope the case is very clear to you. Thank you.